Folks, the jury selection was rigged. There's no doubt about it. 34 counts they have found Trump guilty on. Now, who's to say whether all these jurors found him guilty of all these counts, or if they were put in a situation where they were possibly coerced, threatened, bribed? You know how it goes in these big cases. Somebody comes by and sees you, and or even makes a phone call to you and puts a bug in your ear. And we've all seen movies like that, but that's what really goes on in big cases. And this is one of the biggest cases in the country that could ever happen. This is about the freedom of our next president. And it looks like, as far as everything going so far, Trump will be found guilty of 34 counts, all 34 counts against him in this New York case. He will also end up on probation. It looks like he'll have to see a probation officer, but it will be a month or so away before he actually has to deal with the sentencing phase. So this case at the moment is over for the public's sake. But between now and then, there's going to be a million people speculating about how the case went, what's going to happen on the appeal, how soon we can appeal it, what went wrong, what was done wrong. A lot of speculating and things, and I hear it from all the conservatives and the nutbag left-wingers with their opinion here, but sometimes I want to see how the rest of the world sees us. And so I use Sky Australia News as one of my news sources a lot of times. I just go over there to see what they've got going on, talking about us. I like to see how the rest of the world sees us. I think that does matter as well. But here's about a 4 or 5 minute clip of how a couple of commentators on Sky News Australia feel about the verdict that happened today with Trump, and not just about how it affects Trump, but how it affects the entire justice system. About how the American people took one on the chin today, how it looks bad for our country. It makes us look like communist New York. Let's just go ahead and get into the video, folks. But stick around to the end. This guy's got some insightful truth, because there is a silver lining at the end of every rainbow. And I believe that Trump took one on the chin today, just like the MAGA party did for this conviction. But it may be just one more thing they throw at Trump that makes him more loved, more voted for, more of a surge of people willing to get out, register, and vote. They didn't care about politics a year ago, 6 months ago. But now see this and say, oh, hell no, this can't stand. I do want to urge everybody to please be peaceful in this time. I don't believe they'll be putting Trump in jail, but at this point, I don't know what Judge Merchan is capable of either. So let's just go ahead and jump into the video. Leave your comments in the comment section down below if you choose, and let me know what you think about Sky Australia News' opinion.
Stack up.
Yes, Pete, good morning. This is my 14th president with Joe Biden, and I have to tell you that the idea of the 45th president of the United States being convicted of 34 counts of cooking the books to cover up payments to a girlfriend or to his tryst or whatever it is extraordinary. Now, look, this is going to have enormous consequences. So far, I've been listening to the American news and your own coverage suggesting that we're going to have to wait and see here. I'll tell you what's going to happen now is that this particular conviction has unloosened all the ties out there. Remember I told you that 45% of Americans don't even vote, and that's because they don't really care. Well, now a number of them are going to come out of the hills and vote for Donald Trump, and this thing is going to get very strange very quickly.
So on that point, Joe, why do you think they will?
Well, because this is a miscarriage of justice. Look, this man had, Donald Trump may be guilty of all kinds of sins, but he had no case to answer here. I mean, this is a conviction based on some woman's account of he said, she said, and on the word of a convicted felon a convicted liar, Michael Cohen. See, this is ridiculous. It was politically instigated in the first place. They went out to get Donald Trump, and Donald Trump, of course, is a threat to the establishment. And you see, the thing is that while this may unloosen America, I mean, a lot of Americans are going to be very angry about this. People who don't even like Trump can see that this is a miscarriage of justice. They're going to get very angry about this, and it takes us away from the other things. You know, America's policy is crumbling in the Middle East. Joe Biden has used the same day as Trump's conviction to tell the Ukrainians they can use American weapons on Russian soil, which is a mistake of the first order, as a matter of fact. Terrible things are going to happen from that. And so I think it's safe to say, and I'd like to see a headline today, America is at war with itself. This is more than about politics, more about legality. This is
it at war with itself, or is it just eating itself?
Now, he's fixing to start making a couple of really good points, including the fact that what direction we're headed in. Sometimes it's got to get worse before it gets better, and that's just facts. That way, I guess you see all the teeth come out against not just Trump, but against the American people before we can get in there and root out the rot. It's got to expose itself, and evil lurks in darkness. But I must say, lately, the evil's been showing its true colors braggadociously with their two-tiered justice system, the weaponization of the government through our three-lettered agencies that has got people petrified to even do the right thing. For example, this trial. Let's go ahead and get back into it.
That's what I mean. At war with itself. I mean, it's kind of like any other country that gets involved in politics of this magnitude. They start to turn on each other. Now, Donald Trump, as I say, may have done a lot of things, but this particular case is, I think, is a miscarriage, and you're going to be hearing from a lot of top lawyers. Now, look, he may win at the appellate level and all the rest of it, but can you imagine this? You got a man who's probably going to win in November 5th who can't even vote for himself. I mean, the idea was to humiliate Trump. You know, the establishment didn't want to kill Trump. They wanted him to go away, and he wouldn't go away. He just wouldn't go away. And so they decided to go after him. Pete, he survived the Mueller report. He survived impeachment 1.
Billy Bush tapes.
2.
That's what I've been saying, Joe. Once he survived those, he could survive anything.
And see, and Americans, you know, aren't as stupid as they look sometimes. They can see right through this. Everyone knows that this is not quite right. Now, it's not exactly a 2-hour special on television. They can see that they've been going after Trump, manufacturing the evidence. People have been elected to office based on how they were going to get Trump. And look, I have very, very deep feelings about the state going after an individual. When an entire state apparatus can go after one person and to target him with all these kinds of charges is absurd. I mean, and it really suggests to people that America has reached a dangerous spot.
Excuse me. I want to stop it right there just for a second. We are at a precipice in time when the biggest public court event since O.J. Simpson, involving none other than a previous president, high profile as any case has ever been in a courtroom. Televised, outside, people showing up left and right, protesters, thousands of police officers, media coverage out the wazoo. Turned into a big charade, but all in all, it's like theater, because the fix was in since day one. The jury was not going to be impartial. They weren't going to pick impartial jurors, and they know how to do that just by asking the right questions. That's just the facts. They had the fix in to hope to tarnish Trump's name, in hope that he would drop out of the race, or in hope that some of his supporters would back away from him if he's got these felonies weighing over his head. But what I personally believe is, just like the mugshot only helped Trump's numbers, his polls, registration, donations, today I heard that one of the Trump text number to donate to Trump crashed today. So many people were calling in. That's what they said on David Muir, ABC News earlier today, meaning that there was a lot of people today after they heard the verdict are trying to get through to donate money to the Trump campaign. That's just a fact, folks. We will see record fundraising happening. As a matter of fact, Trump is out fundraising tonight. He had some event to go to. I haven't really read up on that yet, but at any rate, this is going to be the thing that I don't know if it'll help Trump or hurt Trump in the final results of the election. I would think it would help him, just like all the other attacks on him have helped him with the voters, because people realize he's being wrongly persecuted, whether they like him or not. A lot of people put morality over a political party, and for those people, they're probably going to end up voting for Trump or not voting at all, because they can't get behind Biden and his wicked ways of trying to do this to Trump, if nothing else, among all his other horrible policies. But I just wanted everybody to kind of get a perspective as to how the rest of the world is seeing us today before you hear it from every commentator here in America with their opinion as to the travesty of the situation. Or depending on the station you're watching to, I'm sure the Democrats are jumping for joy today. But this will be appealed. Trump most likely will not spend any time in jail. But maybe the Democrats have just screwed up. And from what this guy is fixing to finish this conversation out with, I have to believe he's probably right. This will only help if metrics of how things have gone so far with all these attacks on Trump. This will only help Trump even more. Here we go.
Trump is now technically an outlaw, but so was Willie Nelson. He's not worried about it. The thing is that it's going to unleash these other people who will feel aggrieved for him, as a matter of fact. Now, the Democrats will have invited everything that's going to happen next. I mean, they're going to be thrown out of office. Trump's going to come roaring back, and a lot of people are going to settle scores. But, this did not have to be. Someone suggested recently that what Trump should have done what Biden should have done when Trump was getting all these felony indictments is that President Biden should have taken the high ground and pardoned him. Say, look, we can't put a former president in prison. And I know there's going to be a lot of lurid commentary on the main networks today about Trump in prison and what happens next in his orange jumpsuit and all that kind of thing. Well, that ain't going to happen. But I'll tell you what, when you want to unleash those 45% of Americans who are too apathetic to vote, you made a terrible mistake, because they're going to vote. They're going to make a lot of noise, and I'm not sure the Democrats are ready for what happens next. You can mess around with people for so long, but at a certain point, you can see that this raises more issues than Donald J. Trump. This raises the issue of the state going after an individual, and talk about cooking the books. I mean, I think they built this case against Trump. And look, these jurors would have convicted anybody.
Okay. Joe, as always, it is.
Yeah, that's FAFO, F around and find out. I think that's what's fixing to happen. Just like the mugshot, just like all these indictments have only helped Trump. I've said that. I'm sure most people know this if you pay any attention to the news cycles. And like he said, the 45% of the people that don't care enough about politics to show up to vote every 4 years, those people are going to be motivated.